The role of an actor is to convince the audience that they are who they're playing, and as a result they're worth investing some emotion on. Sam Claflin seems like a man that has definitely invested himself into his characters quite a bit, and yet for all that it would seem that nominations have been as far as he's been allowed to go thus far when it comes to recognizing just how great he's done. He's won an award for Man of the Year at the Glamour Awards, let's get that straight, but so far he's yet to win an award for the outstanding performances he's put into other projects. I won't go into how the committees of so many award shows kind of miss out on some folks when it comes to talent and merit, but let's just say that Sam is definitely due for an award to come his way one of these days. Here are a few of his best movies thus far. Number 5. The Riot Club. For those that believe hedonism works, this would be the perfect film to watch, since the Riot Club is essentially a group of elite, snobbish, and very spoiled young men that, while attending Oxford University, attempt to make their way through life by assuming that the world is theirs for the taking. When they gang up on a man that tries to throw them out of his establishment for acting boorish and loud, however, the entire group is threatened as they could be facing criminal charges. The upsetting thing is that the one of them that has a conscience is told that he must be the one to take the fall, while the man that disdains him eventually gets what he wants and goes on to a successful career. Number 4. The Hunger Games: Catching Fire Part 1. Despite her ability to win the Hunger Games and essentially change the rules, Katniss is still cornered when President Snow comes along to start telling her what's what. When the former tributes are thrust into the Hunger Games again, it's obvious that her attempts to thwart the government have been echoed by other districts, meaning that she has allies now and can start to rely on people rather than run for her life every waking moment. Still, the government rule is strong since they control just about everything, and the struggle to survive is long and arduous as Katniss and her new allies join the rebellion to bring Snow and his corrupt government down. Number 3. Snow White and the Huntsman. This is definitely a different take on the legend of Snow White, but one that is a lot more engaging and active than anything else, since it doesn't paint the lead actress as a completely helpless female. It would seem that people were still conflicted about this kind of role when it first came out, but throughout the years since have come to agree that women need to take a much stronger stance in such films. Perhaps one of these days we'll see another remake of this film and be impressed by a Snow White that's not only aggressive but might actually be every bit the warrior the Huntsman is. Number 2. Adrift. Being based on a true story makes this film even more disturbing, to tell the truth, since it has to do with something that many people might find daunting just to think about. The wide open ocean is not a place that was designed for human beings, as it is a place where the horizon never seems to end and where constant threats are a way of life. But being in the midst of a storm such as Hurricane Raymond while on the land is scary enough, being in its path while on the open sea is tantamount to one's impending doom. Tammy struggled to survive, but Richard was never found and was presumed lost at sea. Number 1. Me Before You. Caring for another person is something that varies by degrees, meaning that it all depends on how much care the other person needs and how difficult they try to make it. When Louisa first takes on the job of caring full-time for Will, she discovers that she's not really up to the task and he seems to think that she's a dunce. But after a while the two start to get used to each other, and eventually they end up falling in love. Will, however, does not want Louisa to be burdened by him, as he can't do anything since he's paralyzed from the neck down. He wants her to live a full life, and in doing so goes through with the planned suicide that he'd been thinking about for so long. Letting go of someone you care for is never easy, but letting them go in order to fulfill a promise to live a full life is a way to honor them at least.